Welcome back to my channel, guys. Mary here at The Good Life with M, coming to you from my kitchen. I am bringing to you today a how to make a charcuterie board. I am going to show you how I put mine together. It was a hit the last time I did it. We actually just did it with a friend of ours. We just kind of hung out here at the house, and I made one. If you were to get something like this out there, it would be totally pricey, I believe, because none of this stuff was cheap. I got everything for about under $100, but it's very filling. It's what some of you might say kind of bougie, but it's so good. So I'm going to teach you how I make mine so that you can recreate it at home. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started.
Before I start my board, I grab my fruits, anything that I'm going to use, and I wash it really well. And then anything that needs to be sliced, I will slice in small, thin pieces. This is a Honeycrisp apple, FYI. And then next, I'll take my bunch of grapes and I'll cut them in smaller pieces. Then I will grab my board, my little bowls for height, and then my little utensils, and I'll go ahead and start grabbing my dips. And then once I get those out, I'll start arranging the little bowls around the board, and I'll just kind of play with it. I don't have anything really set in mind. And then I will usually leave, and if I have any jams, I'll leave it in its jar and then place it on the board somewhere. I'll grab my cheeses, and then I will take the Brie. I usually get Brie because my daughter and I love Brie. And then I will unwrap that and place it in the middle of the board. I generally leave it in the middle because it's the biggest piece out of most of the items on there. And it's the prettiest, I think, because it has that rustic look with that skin over it. Usually I'll cut that in eighths. I think that's what you would say, but then I'll kind of just leave it on the board there and just cut right on the board itself, just so its shape is kept intact. And then once I'm done with that, I will start kind of messing around a little bit more with placement. I'll grab my meats, and usually I get salami and prosciutto. Sometimes you can add pepperoni, but I'm not a big fan of pepperoni, so I left that out. Now for the fun part, I'm making my salami roses. You just pretty much need one pack for this. I didn't even use the whole pack, but I'll get a wine glass, and the reason why I use a wine glass is because it tapers towards the top. I'll take the slices and overlap them, and then once I get to the second layer, or any layer thereafter, I will offset it and then just continue the same pattern. I'll keep overlapping, and then I'll kind of fold it over the edge a little bit to give it a little stability, so that when I place it on the board, it stays intact. So I think I used about 4 layers here. I kind of just stopped when it started coming upwards, kind of like how you see there. Then I turned it upside down and I placed it on the board. As you can see, it starts to spread out a little bit, so I'll kind of shape it with my hands, and then that kind of did the trick a little bit. But I think you may need larger slices, larger in diameter, so that it holds better. I'm not really sure, so I'll have to play around with that later. And then here I'm starting on my second rose, and then hopefully this stays better, which it kind of did, but again, we had the same issue. So once I flip it over, you can kind of get a better look at how it looks on top. So you see how it looks like a rose, and then I'll place it and kind of jam my I'll press the edge of the wine glass down a little bit to give it a little shape. That helped a little bit, but again, it kind of spread, so I had to fix that a little bit. Grabbing my goat cheese. This one in particular has like a blueberry layer on top, and it's so good. I recommend this. I'm taking my hummus, so the dips that I pulled out earlier, and placing that in the bowl. Next is my Gruyere cheese, and I am putting that into cubes. You can slice it any way you want, but because this was kind of rectangular in shape anyway, I just went ahead and made it into cubes. And I'll kind of place that on either side of the board here. This is kind of the time where I try to find a spot on the board, and I don't like to place things too close together. I kind of want to spread it out because it's more aesthetically pleasing that way. These olives are stuffed with garlic. My family, they're not big fans of olives. I'm not either, but I like the saltiness of this, and again, I love garlic, so I went ahead and used this on the board. Here are my bunches of grapes that I had earlier, and this is the reason why I cut them into smaller bunches, because they're easier to place on the board, and I just kind of find, again, a spot where they could fit properly. Here are the strawberries. To make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, I do leave the stems on because it adds a little bit of a greenery onto the mix. And then here are the nuts I had earlier. These are my favorites, pistachios and almonds. I'm not a big nut girl. Like, I don't like cashews, I don't like peanuts, but if you want that, go ahead and add that in. Next are my thinly sliced apples that I will place kind of standing up against the bowls there to give it stability. For my prosciutto, I used 3 packs, and I kind of stripped them and rolled them onto itself to look like little rosettes. Placed them around the board. Here are my crackers that I used and placed along the groove of the board, so on the outer edges. That's pretty much the only spot I had left for them, but they stayed in place. Luckily, I didn't have to do much as far as trying to keep them contained. Here I use rosemary or basil as garnishes for the board to give it a little bit more color. I usually do use these as garnishes, and then I'll save them for later for when I cook or something. Now that this is mostly done, I'll add my utensils. Our family ended up dipping our food, but that's okay. And now it's ready to serve.
There you guys go. That is my version of a charcuterie board. If you guys thought it was a little packed, yeah, I do agree, but I am feeding a family of 5. So I just wanted to show you what my version is. That was actually my first time making salami roses. And I gotta say, I think you need probably bigger slices or larger slices of salami, because these didn't really hold their shape very well, but I mean, it worked. The bigger, the better, I think. So I did primarily a fruit, nut, cheese, and meat board, but you can put vegetables, you can do just fruits, you can just do, I don't know, cheese and crackers, whatever it is that you want, you can't go wrong. This dish is so savory, it's tasty, it's, I think for at least the most part, it's healthy. You get your money's worth, you know, it fills you up, and it's a great snack or appetizer for parties, and you can't go wrong. So let me know if you try it out. Let me know what you think and what you did with your board, and I'd be happy to discuss anything with you. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know what you've tried, and I'd be happy to see your photos. Tag me on Instagram if you follow me. If you don't, I am at The Good Life with M, so same handle as I have here on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do so. Like, comment, share, and again, subscribe so that you are updated with new videos every week, but only if you hit that notification bell. So yes, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you will see me here every Sunday. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your week, and that I see you again next time.